Hey Exoticals, welcome back to the privilege stacking series. I want to talk about thin privilege versus pretty privilege because I see some women saying things like, oh, well, skinny privilege gets you further than pretty privilege, or being thin is more powerful. The only women who are saying that are women who identify as medium ugly. I said what I said. There is no way that you can convince me that a woman who's thicker, who has a gorgeous face, is disadvantaged in this world. That just doesn't make sense. If that were the case, BBW culture wouldn't exist. And I've also noticed this talking point where a lot of women who they don't know how to really create content, so they try to just they're trying to say things to soothe their audience. So what they're doing is they're saying, "Oh, it's okay if you're ugly as long as you're thin." And it's like in the exotical space, I will never promote that, but I want to actually talk about the nuances of thin privilege versus pretty privilege because a lot of people are coming online and they're creating this hierarchy because they can't compete with the exoticals. And we know that a lot of women on YouTube, they view us as competition. They have a scarcity mindset. I don't promote competition mindset on my channel because it's a waste of time. When it comes to competing, they never tell you what you're competing for. They never tell you the rules of the competition. And they don't understand that society doesn't actually follow rules. So, what one person thinks is pretty, another person might not think is pretty. But when it comes to pretty face privilege, a lot of pretty face privilege can come from relatability. So, have you ever noticed that some people say, oh, well, she's not pretty, she's just mixed. She's not pretty, she's just light skinned. She's not pretty, she just has light eyes. Well, a part of why people think that's pretty is because people from different ethnic backgrounds, they have those same features. So they feel like those features are relatable to them. So, what a lot of women don't understand about the pretty privilege conversation is that people tend to favor the beauty of their own group. Just like how a dark skinned black woman is more likely to praise the beauty of another dark skinned black woman. She might be lying. She might not actually like or support that dark skinned black woman. But other communities do the same thing. It's almost like a way of staying on code. So let's say you have a pretty face. Let's say you're an exotical, which means that you look like you could be different ethnicities. Your facial features are not only pretty, but they're relatable to people of other groups. That is an advantage. So someone simply being skinny, thin privilege has its own experience, but that's not the same as having beauty and relatability. There's a reason why people say things like, "Oh, I don't meet the beauty standard." When they say I don't meet the beauty standard, what they really mean is they don't meet the popular beauty standard. I've noticed that a lot of black women in particular, they tend to follow social media beauty standards, which favor exoticals. Social media favors exotical beauty. Hollywood favors exotical beauty. If you don't believe me, please go and watch channels like Chrissy's or other black empowerment channels, and they will admit this out of their own mouths. And so I think that being thin, obviously that's good for your health. Obviously, I promote that heavily on my channel. I'm never going to promote obesity, but I'm also never going to say that it's okay to have a fucked up face or like, oh, if you're skinny and your face looks like an ogre, you're going to have a better life than someone who's pretty and thin. No, that's why I promote the concept of privilege stacking because you never want to put all of your eggs in one basket. So you know how I talk about diversifying? So I was an accountant, so I love talking about like finance stuff, but also the way that I view privilege is I try to diversify my privilege. And the exoticals, the advantage that we have is that we have diversified privilege. We don't just try to latch on to one thing like, oh, I may be ugly, but at least I'm thin. We know how to use several different things to our advantage. Also, when it comes to something like thin privilege, you can lose weight. But if somebody's face card is declining, that's actually much more expensive to fix. That's a more expensive problem to fix versus just your body. Like you can lose weight for free. All you have to do is stop eating so much. You can actually save money by eating less and you lose weight. I will say that our society does try to train you to be fat, but if you are mentally resilient and you don't follow the brainwashing of society, it's actually pretty easy and sustainable to stay at a healthy weight. But when it comes to somebody's face, if their whole entire jawline's fucked up, teeth are fucked up, yellow, they got hella gaps or something like that, maybe they have like a recessed chin, maybe they have their gums are messed up or something, that actually takes more time and money to fix because a part of pretty privilege when it comes to your face has to do with facial balance. So have you ever seen someone where maybe they were already pretty, but then they get some sort of surgery or they get something done and then it kind of throws off their entire face? So having pretty face privilege, I don't like how content creators are trying to downplay that as if having a pretty face means nothing. That is something that a woman would only say if her face card declines. Her cheekbones, she doesn't have pretty cheekbones, pretty teeth, pretty lips, or whatever. So, of course, she's going to downplay it and say, oh, well, being skinny is more important. Well, yeah, that's because that's all you have, ma'am. You're not privilege stacking. You have access to one privilege, and congratulations. But what they're doing is they're trying to put everything on a hierarchy so they can attempt to humble women who actually do have a pretty face card. Also, I can tell you myself, even when I was a beluga, the one thing that I was grateful for was my face card. When I was a beluga, guess what I spent the most time on? My makeup. Because I knew, okay, hey, I may not have the stomach right now, I may not have the thighs right now, but I have the face. Your face is a representation of your health. It's a representation of your racial background, your ethnic background. It's a representation of like your youth or your age. When a person looks at your face, like the psychology behind a person looking at your face, humans are visual creatures. So within milliseconds, you are scanning someone's face for symmetry, for skin clarity, for expression. So you know how they talk about, oh, I have good genes. Okay, well, where do those genes show up? They show up in your face. And I noticed that when a lot of people try to come for the exoticals, notice how they can never talk shit about any of these women's faces. The women who they tried to dox in the exotical space, they could never say anything about those women's face cards because they know their face cards don't decline. So women who have a medium ugly face, according to their own talking points, women who identify as medium ugly or quote unquote average in the face or whatever, those are the same women who try to pretend like having a pretty face is not important. And it's like, well, yeah, that's because you don't have that experience. So I think one of the issues that we see on YouTube is you've got women speaking on privileges that they have never accessed. You got women talking about pretty privilege, but then they admit that they don't have pretty privilege or they never had it. There's a such thing as coming from a long line of pretty privileged women. Like for some of you guys in the audience, maybe you were raised by a pretty privileged mother and a pretty privileged grandmother and pretty privileged aunties, and your sisters also had pretty privilege. So there is a such thing as pretty privileged culture. And by the way, that phrase, pretty privilege, it was never supposed to only be about your body being slim. But I think that a lot of people, they just follow the exoticals because we are the trendsetters on YouTube. We're the popular girls. So they follow whatever we're talking about. So they think that because I made a lot of videos on thin privilege, they think that I view that as the number one most important, that's the only one that you have to have. And they view it as we are downplaying other privileges when that's not the case. This is why I love content creation, by the way, because there's always more that you can talk about. But the number one difference between having a pretty face versus a pretty body, your face actually can trigger jealousy. Just like how somebody can be jealous of your body, they can also be jealous of your actual face. That is definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. People can be jealous of your face card. And by the way, if you don't believe me when I talk about the importance of like having a nice face, just go on Reddit and look up the ugly subreddit where it's people who talk about like how they lost weight, they got a nice haircut, but their face card still declined. A lot of this stuff that people talk about, weight loss and having different lace fronts and all that, your hair is supposed to frame your face. That's the whole point. Makeup, there's a multi-billion-dollar makeup industry. Makeup goes where? It goes on your face. Weight loss emphasizes the bone structure where? In your face. And that's a really big jealousy trigger for a lot of women. I want you to think of who you think the prettiest woman is in the world. Think of your favorite celebrity, favorite actress, favorite rapper, model. Who do you think is really pretty? Because you probably just thought of someone and her face popped up in your head. You didn't just think of a flat stomach and that was it. You didn't just think of a healthy weight. You probably also thought about her face. That's the whole package. That's what I mean when I say privilege stacking. It's about diversifying it, not just having one thing, putting all your eggs in one basket. This is exactly why a lot of women still have a scarcity mindset. It's because they think their whole life is supposed to hinge on one thing. And I'm not saying it can't. I mean, I think that one privilege can take you far in life depending on what your goals are. But there are some women who have just been so invisible in society. They've been living their life in survival mode for so long. They've been underprivileged. So the phrase underprivileged, that really means you have a lack of privilege. You don't have access to really any privileges at all, or you have access to less privileges than the average person in society. So a lot of underprivileged women, they get access to one privilege and they think it's going to turn everything around. Fanita is a good example of this. I was going to do a video about Fanita. I can talk about her in this video. She recently lost 400,000 followers. She's that one girl. She's a dark-skinned, unambiguous black woman. She's the one where she used to be obese and she lost all this weight. And you could tell based on her behavior that she thought that the weight loss would solve all of her problems. She thought that she would get more brand deals, more opportunities, but her life didn't pan out how she thought it would. And now she's lost almost 500,000 followers. Meanwhile, Ekane, who got called colorist, she has gained about 2 million followers, by the way. So Fanita is a great example of how simply being thin, I don't really identify her as thin, but I think that she identifies as thin compared to before because she lost 100 pounds or something. But she's a good example of someone who maybe she had a version of thin privilege, but it wasn't able to affect her life and solve all of her problems. There's no such thing as a perfect privilege. There's no such thing as, oh, if I just have this face, if I just have this skin tone, then all my problems will be solved. No, privilege is supposed to solve micro insecurities. That's what I've always said on this channel. It gets rid of micro insecurities. A micro insecurity means that it doesn't keep you up at night, that insecurity. It's not like you're thinking about that thing 24/7, but it kind of takes a mental load off of you. It makes you just a little bit more carefree. It makes you just a little bit more confident. It raises your self-esteem just a little bit. That's the whole concept of privilege. But I saw some women on YouTube, they were like, oh, Jeff Bezos and a lot of millionaires and billionaires, they marry women all because they're skinny. Okay, that's false. That's a comment that comes from a woman that's not skinny and she's probably not been around millionaires and billionaires. Because that's not what most marriages are based on. It's not always based on weight. There are plenty of skinny women who are with Dusties. So that's more of a femcel talking point. This hierarchy mindset, it comes from femcel talking points. Oh, if I just become skinny, then I'm going to finally have more social power than all of the pretty girls with the pretty faces. Okay, it's giving Fanita. It's giving the Fanita mindset. Oh, well, if I just have a better ass than everybody, then I'm going to flex my ass on them. And it's like, okay, you're trying to create a hierarchy because you want to feel socially powerful. You don't have any social power. That's why you're trying to say, oh, well, you having a pretty face doesn't matter. And then I also have seen some people saying, oh, well, most guys go for the skinny woman with an ugly face rather than a girl who's thicker with a pretty face. Okay, so do you see how male-centered that talking point is? That's male-centered. Also, just because a man chooses you, a man choosing you based on your face being ugly, ma'am, that's not a compliment. That is not a flex. Oh, well, my man chose me because my face isn't as pretty as yours. Ma'am, do you hear yourself? People in society can be triggered by pretty faces. They could be jealous of women who have pretty faces. I've seen men actually get jealous of pretty women. I've seen men get jealous of women who have pretty faces. I've seen women get jealous of other women who have pretty faces. Do you know how many women are insecure about their nose? Maybe if they have lips that are too big or too small. So your face is definitely a part of your identity. That's the first thing that people see. Well, it's really your body and your face. You can't hide your face. You can kind of hide your body. You can wear baggy clothes. You can wear certain outfits to create the illusion of a different body type. But when it comes to your actual face, there's only so much makeup can do because makeup is just powders and creams that you put on the face. Whereas with clothing, you can put totally different fabrics on there. You can do different fits on your body. You can do different cuts on your body. So you have more options to manipulate your body shape with clothing versus manipulating your face with makeup. And this is why you see a lot of women layering their filters on Instagram. Why do people use filters? Why do they layer their filters? It's because obviously having a face card, it is important to them. So that's a gaslighting talking point when people try to say to the exoticals, oh, well, having a pretty face isn't important. You're only saying that because we're pretty. You're saying that because we have pretty faces over here. And how do you know if you have a pretty face? Well, it's because when you ask that person, hey, what feature of mine is ugly? Eyes, nose, lips, skin tone, bone structure? What ethnicity? What ethnicity or race has ugly facial features? What is your standard for ugly? They can never answer that question. So they have the audacity to say things like, oh, well, having a pretty face isn't important. All that matters is having the best body possible. So, I'm above you on the scale. I'm prettier than you because I'm a size extra small and you're just a size small. Do you see how they try to create a hierarchy? Because they view you as competition in the area of face cards. So, of course, they can't bring up your face card. They can't make fun of your face card because there's nothing to make fun of. Or if they do make fun of how your face looks, notice how they will only call out your features that look like theirs. So it's from a place of self-hate. Have you ever noticed that a lot of black women, they call out mixed women or light-skinned women and call them ugly? And it's like, what's ugly about her? Usually it's her black features. Or it could be her quote unquote white features, her non-black features. So it's like, okay, you're trying to imply that non-black facial features are ugly while fucking and sucking on non-black men. So you're a liar and a gaslighter. But I see women saying skinny privilege is definitely better than pretty privilege. That's why most people say you have a pretty face but lose weight. They never say you're skinny but get prettier. Well, actually, they do talk about that. They definitely can still call somebody ugly and the person is skinny. And I've also heard people use the word butterface, or they'll say she's average in the face or she's basic in terms of her face. And I saw women commenting about supermodels. They're like, oh, most supermodels are not that pretty in the face. Okay, name names. Who are these supermodels that are not pretty in the face? And also, if these supermodels are not pretty in the face, like Tyra Banks, for example, is a supermodel, if they're not pretty on the beauty scale, then where does that place you? So a lot of people, they don't realize how creating a hierarchy, it puts them at the bottom. Have you ever noticed why some women feel like they're at the bottom? Well, it's because they're constantly trying to create hierarchies and they're too busy trying to humble women whose life has given them privilege. If you are receiving opportunities, money, and social status, or even if you are receiving acceptance, you fit in with the other racially ambiguous people. You fit in with the Latinas. You fit in with the Filipino girls. You fit in with the Indian women because maybe that's a part of your background. So if you are receiving acceptance, you're receiving benefits, or if you are bypassing trauma, that's a form of privilege. And by the way, when it comes to the pretty face conversation, I can tell you, as someone who has been skinny with a not as pretty face, because this is before I knew about moisturizing and like how to do my makeup. I didn't grow my lashes out. I wasn't getting my eyebrows done, wasn't getting my lashes done. I wasn't like moisturizing my lips or doing lip scrubs and all that. I wasn't doing my dental care as much as I do now. So my face card was not on the level back then as it is now. So I can tell you from life experience that no, I definitely get treated better now. I'm definitely perceived in a different way now with a face that has been improved over time. That's really what a glow up is. When people talk about a glow up, it's not just your body. Usually they're also talking about their face as well. So they shave their mustache or whatever. And it's also like, okay, if your face card truly didn't matter, then why do you get your upper lip waxed? Why are you putting on chapstick? Why not just walk around with crusty lips then? Since your face card doesn't matter, if all that matters is having an ass, then why don't you walk around with crusty lips? Why do you even purchase makeup then? Do you see the talking point falling upon itself? And by the way, another reason why women will say this is because they are competing with you. They want you to deprioritize your face because they feel like you already had a head start in life based on your genetics. They feel like your face is already, quote unquote, prettier than theirs, even in its natural state. And so they lie and say, oh, well, face card doesn't matter. Face card doesn't count. It's all about the body. It's all about the ass. And they're saying that while simultaneously going behind closed doors and they're doing their eyebrows, they're getting rid of their acne. Do you know how many women have acne and they get rid of the acne? If your face doesn't matter, then they wouldn't be getting rid of the acne. So they're just trying to tell the exoticals that because they want to be able to go behind closed doors and try to improve, and they want to catch up with you is what I call it. It's almost like they feel socially left behind. They feel like they don't have that same quote unquote exotic. Whenever somebody says you look exotic, what are they talking about? Are they talking about your stomach? Oh, you have a flat stomach, that looks exotic. No, usually they're talking about your face. It's a combination of your face and maybe your hair texture, skin tone, eye color, whatever. And also, culturally, we see a lot of women in the Black community caring about makeup a lot. Go and look on their makeup tutorials. You'll see that a lot of them do the clean girl makeup look. We talk about this in the Patreon, by the way. Be sure to join the Patreon. I've got hundreds of additional pieces of content on there. I also make custom content for all the pretty girls. But there are a lot of women who they will try to lie and say that your face doesn't matter, but then that woman is wearing red lipstick, or in all of her photos, she'll be on Instagram, she has hella filters on, or she has a professional camera. I've seen women have a ring light. I'm like, how do you have a ring light on your phone? So you want to try to convince me that your face card doesn't matter. It's okay if your face card declines as long as you have a nice ass or as long as you're thin. But then you're walking around with a phone. You got a whole ring light on your phone. You got a whole tripod that you carry around so that you can get the best angles of your face. Do you see what I mean? It's a form of sabotage. They're trying to socially sabotage the women who do have the pretty faces. I've also noticed they will shame you. Let's say you get Botox. Maybe you get some sort of filler. Maybe you get some sort of, I don't know, like a facelift or something. You got something done to your face. Chemical peel, facials. Maybe you got your teeth done, you got Invisalign, you got braces or veneers. So they have all this shit to say like, oh, well, that's fake. Well, why do you feel the need to call it out? If your face doesn't matter, like you just said, if face cards don't matter, then who cares if her whole face is fake, right? Because it doesn't matter anyway. So that's how I know they're gaslighting. They're gaslighting. They view you as competition because you have a pretty face already. You already have beautiful material to work with. That's what I always say. When it comes to things like surgeries or makeup and all that, if a girl looks stunning and gorgeous with her makeup done, her face was already stunning and gorgeous. She already had a nice face, and that's why when she put the little bronzers or whatever on her face, it looks great. Your face, if you look like Shrek in the face and then you put on a little bit of blush, it's not going to turn your face into Beyonce. Makeup can only do so much. Even surgery can only do so much. Have you ever seen somebody who gets a surgery on their face and they look worse? So if somebody is getting a surgery and they look good, well, part of it is their face. The other parts of their face already looked good. All they did was they made their nose smaller or something. And so now you can see their eyes more. Now you can see their lips more. And by the way, I'm not telling you to get surgery. I'm just saying that people will try to gaslight you. They want to convince you that you can't do anything with your face. Oh, well, you can't wear makeup or your face card doesn't matter. They want to do that. And then they're over here behind closed doors. They got a whole ring light attached to their phone. They're over here layering filters and shit. They got Facetune and all that shit. What is the point of Facetune? Do you know how many people have Facetune on their phone? I think it's called Facetune. They have all these apps on their phones where they can use all these different filters, or they try to monitor your filters. Like, let's say you're using a filter of some kind. They will try to call it out like, oh, well, she's using a filter. Her face isn't that pretty. Okay, well, if face cards don't matter, if all that matters is body type, then why do you care if she's using a filter? Having a face card is still a form of social power. And I will never be dumb enough to say that that doesn't matter, or that, as long as you have a nice body, then it doesn't matter. You can just have a crusty ass face. No. Also, if you think about famous celebrities, people follow their faces. Okay, your face is how people recognize you. People follow faces, not bodies. You don't recognize Rihanna's stomach versus Sierra's stomach versus Beyonce's stomach. No. When people post on social media or when they are branding themselves, they're using their face. When you get a brand deal, they're like, oh, you are the face of this company. So your face is a form of recognition. And I want to talk about some of the signs that you have pretty face privilege, because clearly the women talking about it, they don't identify as having pretty face privilege. And that's fine, but it's like, okay, so don't talk about pretty face privilege then if you don't have experience in it. But one of the signs that you have a face card that never declines, women are copying your makeup. Have you ever walked into work? You have red lipstick and gold eyeshadow. The next day, she has red lipstick and gold eyeshadow. It's because your face card, you have pretty face privilege. She's hoping that by copying your exact makeup, that she can have a face that looks more like yours. Number two, people are trying to figure out what filters you use, or they're trying to accuse you of using certain filters. They're trying to compare your photos with versus without filters. Okay, you have a face card. That's why they're doing that. Because they're trying to figure out, why is her face so pretty? Why does her face look so good? Why is her profile pic so pretty? Number three, people ask you questions about where you get your face done. So for example, oh, where'd you get your makeup done? Oh, who does your lashes? Who does your eyebrows? Who does your facials? How'd you get rid of your acne? What type of skincare products do you use? What do you use on your face? How do you get your skin so smooth on your face? Okay, you have a face card. That's why they're asking you that question. You have privilege in that area. You are seen as an authority on how to have an attractive face. Number four, people give you positive stereotypes based on your face. Oh, you look innocent. Oh, you look so happy. Oh, you look so bubbly and sweet. Okay, that's a face card thing. You're receiving the halo effect based off of your face. Number four, people are unusually nice to you when you have not earned it. So maybe you get a lot of the male gaze. A lot of people want to show you off. There's a difference between wanting to be shown off versus somebody hiding you. Women who don't have a face card, a lot of times people don't want to be seen with them. But if you do have a face card, let's say you're thin and you have a nice face or something, that's when people start using phrases like Barbie and doll. That's when they start calling you a fantasy creature, because most people don't have that combo. Most people don't have both the thin privilege and the pretty privilege. But when it comes to pretty face privilege, they might make that comment, though, about your face. Oh, you look like a doll. Oh, you look like a Barbie. And then they want to be seen with you. Number five, other women try to hang out with you because they want to use you to gain male attention. Okay, you got a face card. You have a face card. And don't even get me started on if you have a pretty face and your body is not even perfect. Okay, so then that means your face, clearly her face is doing something in her favor then. Her face is carrying her, which is not a bad thing, but it's like, yeah, that's why women, they try to ride the coattails of pretty women. Oh, number six, women lie and say they look like you. Oh, I look exactly like Beyonce. Oh, everybody looks like Beyonce in Houston. Oh, well, I look just like her. Oh, you look like me. You look regular black. Why are they saying that? Because they want you to be the face of blackness. They're saying you're so gorgeous, you're so stunning, you're so beautiful that I need to associate you with my race, blackness. So no, I'm not going to say that you look mixed because then you won't be a part of my group. I'm going to call you a brown-skinned black woman so that you can represent from my same group, which is brown-skinned black women. Okay, you got a face card. That's why they're doing that. They're trying to force you to be their representation because you're pretty. You're pretty enough to be their representation. There's a reason why they don't fight for somebody like Whoopi Goldberg to be their representation. I said what I said. It's because a lot of people in the black community, they don't think Whoopi Goldberg is pretty. I didn't say it. The black community said it. So if people are fighting to be in the same group as you, they're fighting to categorize you in the same skin tone category as them, the same racial category as them, even if you're not really in that category. They want you to be their representation. They're hiding behind your beauty. So what they're saying is you are pretty enough. Your face card is pretty enough. Your beauty is strong enough for you to be more accepted by people of other ethnic groups and races. You know, you have a form of quote unquote universal beauty, which is really universal beauty. It's really just popular beauty. There is no such thing as, oh, well, she's the prettiest person in the world. Everybody thinks she's pretty. But sometimes when people pedestalize your face that much, they do think like that. So that's a sign that you have pretty face privilege. They want you to be their representation. They're like, oh, no, you're not mixed. You're black. Well, why are they saying that? Because they want you to represent them. They want you to represent blackness because you're pretty enough to represent blackness. They feel like you increase the black image. Your face is a representation of black excellence in their mind. Your face is a representation of good genes, good quote unquote black genes. Number 7, sign that you have a face card. You have pretty face privilege. You get approached, you get the male gaze, you get complimented when your makeup looks like trash. Makeup looks terrible. Makeup looks horrible, or you have no makeup on at all. You woke up crusty, you have acne, you got scars and marks on your face, and people are still complimenting you. It's because you have a face card. The face card doesn't decline. You have pretty face privilege. If all it takes is some acne for somebody's pretty privilege to be canceled out, they didn't have pretty face privilege. I said what I said. If all it takes is one little bump on somebody's face and then suddenly people are acting like they're repulsed by them, it's because they didn't have the pretty privilege. Women who have that face card, she can still have a flaw, or her face is a little bit sweaty, or she got oily at the gym or something. That's how you know that she has a face card. She has pretty face privilege. Why is she getting hit on in the gym? Her face is sweaty as hell. She has crust all over her face. Her makeup is streaking. Makeup is running down her chin. She's dripping in sweat and she's still getting hit on. Okay, it's because she has a face card. That's pretty face privilege. It means that small flaws, they don't cancel out the pretty privilege. But the women who are medium ugly, or they identify as medium ugly, those types of women, oh no, their shit is going to get fucked up. Like if they have a little bit of oil, now they're being treated repulsively. That's why you see some women where they're more obsessed with the perfect makeup or the perfect powder, or her eyebrows have to be perfectly arched. Okay, if all it takes is one little small eyebrow arch and now your whole pretty privilege is canceled, then you didn't have pretty privilege, ma'am. You didn't have the face card that you thought you did. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying that that's why you have women trying to downplay pretty face privilege, is because they don't have it. So, of course, they don't want you to have it. Have you ever noticed that people are not actually against privilege? They're just against the privileges they don't benefit from. So they have this mindset of, if I don't have pretty face privilege, you can't have pretty face privilege. If I don't have a pretty face and all I can flex on you is me having an ass or having a smaller size than you, then I don't want you to have privilege either. I don't have anything but my ass, so I want you to feel the same way, where all you have is a body. And it's like, no, we're not butterfaces over here. Okay, I think I'm on number 8. Signs that you have pretty face privilege. People make comments like, oh, you don't even need makeup. So their compliments are focusing on your natural features on your face. You have pretty eyes. Oh, I love your eye shape. You have beautiful eyebrows. You have a beautiful smile. What is your smile made out of? It's made out of your teeth, your lips, your cheekbones. Maybe you have dimples or something. So people are complimenting you based on your natural facial features. Okay, so then you have a face card. So women who say face cards aren't important, of course it's not important to them, because their face is not granting them any special access. It's not giving them micro-validation in their life. They're not being validated for their face card. They're only being validated for their complexion or for their ass. A sign that people don't view you as having pretty face privilege is they focus their compliments on other things, like, oh, you have a nice hairstyle. Oh, you have a nice body. Oh, I love your skin tone. I love your dark skin tone. I love your light skin tone. Okay, so that means that person, they're not getting compliments on their face. That's what they get compliments on. That's where they have the privilege. They have dark skin privilege, or they have big booty privilege, or whatever, hourglass privilege, I guess. So they have other privileges. That's why they're emphasizing those privileges. But here in the Exoticals United community, I talk more about privilege stacking. So my content was never meant to only focus on one privilege. Oh, just thin privilege. No, you guys just requested the videos. I make videos on this channel based on what you guys request. It's not because I'm trying to make a hierarchy like, oh, this is the end all be all. But number 9, sign that you have pretty face privilege. You get underestimated in terms of your intellect. But then once you start speaking, people are pleasantly surprised. Why? It's because your face is so pretty that they associated you with being a dumbass. Your face is so pretty that they thought of you as some sort of sex doll or something. They feel like, oh, she can't be that intellectual. She can't be that smart. So when you start speaking, they're surprised. Because a lot of people, when they see a pretty face, they view you as soft. I think I'm on number 10 now? Other people try to bully you. Other people try to intimidate you because you're perceived as soft. What are some of the things that make you get perceived as soft? It's not just your hair. It's not just skin tone. It's not just body. Guess what else it is? Your face. Do you have an innocent looking face? Do you have one of those baby faces? I think I'm on number 11 for pretty face privilege. You get away with more stuff. Okay? Your mistakes get forgiven. You can fuck something up at work. You can be a complete bitch and get away with it. You can say whatever you want. You can be controversial. You can be very unlikable, honestly. You can be mean. You can be mean to men. You can be a mean girl to women, and your mistakes get forgiven. How many times have we seen this play out? Not just in real life, but also with celebrities and stuff, where they're known for being a diva. Think about like Naomi Campbell. She's known for throwing shit at people and being mean towards people, but because she has a face card, people overlook it. They're like, oh, no, no worries. Oh, well, that person was just being mean to her. So that's why she threw a cell phone at somebody. So your mistakes get forgiven. That's because you have a face card. You have a pretty face. It's the halo effect. It's almost like, okay, you know how babies, they're really cute, but then they like make a mess everywhere. They mess stuff up. They throw things. Maybe they even have a tantrum. But then when you look at the baby is so cute to where you can't get mad. Having a pretty face gives you a similar effect. People are more likely to forgive your mistakes. So that is absolutely a form of privilege. You can get away with more shit. And if you don't believe me, go look at YouTube channels where the women don't identify as pretty privileged, and you'll hear them complaining about this. They'll be like, oh, these pretty women have no personalities. Oh yeah, that leads me to number 11. You can get away with having no personality and no talent. Because your face card is that pretty, you're that stunning, nobody gives a fuck. You can have no talent, you can rap about poop, Ice Spice. But because you're so pretty, you have a pretty face, and in her case, she also has a nice body or whatever. So nobody cares. You can have lack of talent, you could have no personality, and people will still flock to you. People still follow you. Oh, that's another thing. You attract a lot of followers, not just on social media, but also in real life. So kind of like what I said about the whole people copying your makeup thing, people follow you. You're a beauty icon, and you didn't even sign up for it. People are following you on social media. They're monitoring you. They're watching how you dress at work or how you do your makeup or like, what color lipstick is she going to do today? Some people will memorize your lipstick colors. They're like, oh, yesterday you were wearing orange lipstick. Now you're wearing red lipstick. And then you wore a brown lipstick. It's like, how are you studying my face that much to where you're measuring and like tracking the lipstick I wear? Like I had one girl, she was tracking my eyeshadow colors. I was wearing the tiniest amount of eyeshadow. We were going on a hike. I put on a very, very small amount of eyeshadow, not a smoky eye. I just used my finger and I dotted a little teeny tiny bit of eyeshadow just to try to look a little bit more awake. This girl notices my eyeshadow. She's memorizing my eyeshadow colors. Okay, that means you got a face card. If people are memorizing exactly how you do your makeup, they're asking you questions about how you do your makeup, there's a reason why beauty influencers are beautiful. You don't follow the beauty influencers who you think look like an ogre. You're not following ghouls and goblins when it comes to how to do your makeup. No, you're following women who you think are pretty. So that's another way that you can figure out your internalized standard of beauty in terms of facial features. Who do you think is the prettiest? That's your beauty standard in terms of face. In terms of features, that's your beauty standard. Who do you follow on social media? She fits your beauty standard. Whose makeup tutorials do you watch? Do you watch women who have narrow noses, wide noses, women who have large lips, they have small lips? Because that will tell you your internalized beauty standard in terms of face. That tells you what type of pretty face privilege you are going for. What kind of makeup do you watch on YouTube? Do you watch like the soft glam? Do you watch the smoky eye and like the winged eyeliner? Do you watch the women that do the fantasy makeup with like gems on their face and stuff? A lot of sparkles and glitter? Because that tells you the type of pretty face privilege you're going for. So the different makeup looks, that's going to give you a different type of pretty face privilege. Like in my case, if I wear vampy makeup, kind of like Meg Thee Stallion, she's the first one that comes to mind when I think of vampy makeup. It's kind of like this smoky eye and this eyeliner. It's a very sexy type of makeup look. So I notice I get more of this sexy type of vibe. People perceive me as being more sexy with that makeup. And then if I wear almost like a no makeup look, then I get perceived as a lot younger. A lot of people mistake me for being in college. They mistake me for being in my early 20s because I'm wearing just like a tinted moisturizer. I don't have a professional thing done. I don't have professional makeup done. Then I notice when I do soft glam, which is it's kind of like you do a smoky eye and stuff, but the colors are closer to my skin tone, so it's not as prominent as like this vampy makeup look. When I do soft glam, I still look young, but I have more of a professional look. So people think like, "Oh, I'm a young professional. I'm a grad student or something." So the type of makeup you wear, that affects your pretty face privilege. There's a reason why some women don't wear certain makeup. They'll be like, "Oh, this makeup looks too harsh on me. Oh, I look like a clown." Well, why would you care about looking like a clown if your face card doesn't matter? You just told me that you have a nice body, Keisha, so it doesn't matter if you look like a clown, right? No, the reason that they don't want the clown makeup is because, the clown makeup, it causes their face, it makes them get perceived as trying too hard. Or in the case of the high yellow concealers, it makes me perceive you as trying to be light skinned, trying to be lighter. You want to be as light as possible. There's no reason why a woman with an ebony skin tone should be wearing a white concealer. And yes, I have seen it. I've seen actual white concealers, not just the yellow or like a light brown or caramel. No, I've seen some where the concealer is just way too bright. So the way you do your makeup or the way you do your eyebrows and all that, your lashes and all that, why do some people perceive you as ratchet? Well, it's because you have those giant lashes on. And then I've seen some girls where their lashes are like falling off or like, they have gunk in their lashes, like the glue or whatever. It's like clumped up at the base of the lashes. So that it changes people's perception. It makes you get perceived as cheap. Why do some women get told they look like cheap whores? Well, it's because their makeup, their face card, that's the type of vibe they're giving with their face. Their makeup looks cheap and like messed up, or it's not neat, basically. And that's why the makeup trends have different names. Like dirty girl, there's clean girl makeup, then there's dirty girl makeup, which is it's more smudged up because you're supposed to look dirty, like you stayed out all night drinking. You stayed out all night partying. You're like a dirty girl. Okay, I think I'm on number 12. Sign that you have a face card that doesn't decline. You have pretty face privilege. You get told that you look familiar even by strangers. Okay, that's also a sign of ambiguity as well, like racial ambiguity. Oh, you look familiar. Oh, you look like my cousin. Oh, you look like my sister. If you have white people and non-black people saying you look familiar or you look like their family members, okay, that's now you've got ambiguity also playing into your face card as well. But facial beauty, it often gets mapped by celebrity references as well. So if you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, you look like Beyonce, you look like Rihanna, you look like so and so." Okay, so that is a sign that your face is meeting the template of a beauty standard. Have you ever been around women who say they don't look like any celebrities? They don't get told they look like any celebrities. Okay, that means their face card is not meeting any popular beauty standards. It doesn't mean that they're ugly. It just means their face doesn't meet popular beauty standards or Hollywood beauty standards. So maybe they don't have a Hollywood type of beauty. That's why they're not getting compared to any Hollywood people. They don't have an influencer type of face card because they're not getting compared to influencers. But I notice a lot of women, they try to create a hierarchy and they make it like Hollywood beauty is number one or influencer beauty is number one. But if you're getting told that you look familiar, oh, you look like so-and-so TikToker. Like there was this one girl, she was commenting on this other pretty girl and she was like, oh, she looks like one of those TikTok girls. Okay, that means she's pretty. That's what she's trying to say. And sometimes people, they don't want to say you're pretty because, that's a little too much of a compliment. They don't want to admit you're pretty. So instead, they'll just say you look familiar. You look familiar. You look like my cousin. That's a form of approximating themselves to you, by the way. Oh, you look like my cousin. What they're saying is, you're so pretty that I want to be associated with you, so that's why I'm saying you look like my family member. I forgot what number I'm on, but you don't get made fun of for being ugly. Have you ever heard those women online talk about how when they were in school, boys used to ask them out as a joke, or people would call them pretty as a joke? They've been called ugly so many times throughout their life that as an adult, they don't even believe it when someone says they're pretty. Okay, with all due respect, they don't identify as pretty privileged. They didn't have the face card It doesn't mean you're actually ugly, because I actually believe most people are not ugly. If you're not deformed, you're probably not ugly. If babies are not crying when they see you, you're that there are different levels of pretty privilege and there are different levels of being quote unquote ugly. But most women, they're not ugly, but also not pretty either. I'm just being honest, just based on actual statistics, because we went over this in the last video how most women in the United States are like a size 18. A lot of women have things like it could be wrinkles, it could be hair on their face, it could be like there are so many different like micro flaws that women have. So, yeah, majority of women may not be hideous and repulsive, but I also don't believe that every woman just has pretty privilege and has a pretty face card and she gets all these opportunities just based on her face. No, if that were truly the case, then pretty privilege wouldn't exist. Privilege doesn't exist if everybody has it. Privilege means that some people get certain benefits or advantages that others don't. I mean, there are benefits to being average. There's a thing called average privilege, in my opinion. I think being average can get you a privilege. For example, people are more likely to defend you, they're more likely to pity you. This channel is obviously not geared towards you, so I recommend unsubscribing and not watching this channel if you identify as quote unquote average. But everybody has different pros and cons in their life. Okay, number 15, people take your opinions on beauty more seriously. So even if you're not a makeup artist, people take your makeup advice seriously. Even if you're not a supermodel, people get more easily offended when you start talking about pretty privilege. That's why the pretty privilege lady, people got mad because she does meet some sort of beauty standard. I don't care if you think she meets a colorist, texturist, or featurist beauty standard. That is still a beauty standard nonetheless. I'm not saying it's good, but it still exists. So a sign that you have pretty face privilege is people want to hear your opinions, or they're more likely to listen to you or even get rage baited by your opinions on beauty and pretty privilege. You know why? Because you're an actual authority in that area. You have authority when it comes to talking about having a pretty face. Other women can't talk about that. They can't speak on it. They can only speak in theoreticals like, oh, well, this pretty girl, she thinks she's pretty and she thinks she's all that and she thinks she's better than me. Okay, that's theoreticals. Why don't you ask an actual pretty girl? Why don't you let an actual pretty girl talk about her experiences? Oh, you don't want to hear her talk because then that would confirm that she's pretty. Okay, I think I'm on number 16. People of the same gender compete with you. They compete with your beauty or they view you as competition. If somebody views you as their competition, you meet their internal beauty standard. That's why you are their competition. Have you ever been around a woman where she wants to talk to every guy you talk to? She wants to go behind you and sleep with every guy that you've been with, or she wants to go in front of you and sleep with every guy that shows interest in you. Okay, you meet her internalized beauty standard. You also meet her sexual beauty standard. So that's a totally different thing. That's sexual competition. But yeah, people view you as competition. They're in a one-sided beauty contest with you. They're in a one-sided makeup or eyelashes contest with you. Like I remember one time I was at work and there was this one lady. She was one of those white ladies who wanted to look mixed. Okay, that's what she was. She was a white lady who would wear super tan makeup. She did the super long ratchet eyelashes. She spoke in a black accent. Maybe she was raised around black people. I don't know. But I noticed that she would compare her beauty to mine. She would compare her facial beauty to mine because she would always randomly compare her eyelashes to mine directly. She would randomly compare. I did not care about her ratchet ass eyelashes, but she would come into my office. She would ask me questions about my eyelashes. Then she actually started nitpicking at my eyelashes, trying to like imply that my eyelashes are crooked or they're not fitting well. And by the way, this was a woman who had caterpillar eyelashes. Okay, so that means that I met her internalized standard of beauty. She was competing in terms of face card because she's comparing one aspect of her face to mine. She's comparing her eyes to mine, comparing her eyelashes to mine. Okay, I think I'm on number 17. Your face causes you to get recruited for opportunities. Oh, hey, can you model for my makeup brand? Yeah, I want to become a makeup artist. So can I do your makeup for free? Hey, can you represent my skincare brand? Hey, you know what? You're really pretty. Do you want to be a bottle girl at this place? And then you get like all these tips and stuff. Okay, so your face is opening doors when your resume, you don't have that resume. You don't have the resume, you just have the face. Another thing is you don't have to overcompensate with talent, personality. You don't have to overcompensate because your face can carry you. If you wanted to rely on being pretty, you could. That's what modeling is. That's what a lot of influencing is. A lot of those TikTokers who just lip sync and then they like go viral or whatever. It's not because they're the most talented person. They're the best dancer in the world. They're the best TikTok dancer in the world. No, a lot of times it's because they have a face card. They're pretty. Another thing is people are saving your photos. So if they're adding your social media photos to like their Pinterest board, or basically you are their vision board, or if you look at this woman's Pinterest boards, the women look like you. Her beauty icons look like you, or just famous beauty icons in general, they look like you. You have the same bone structure as these women who are pretty. You have the same bone structure and the same look as Naomi Campbell. You have the same beauty as somebody like Keke Palmer. You have the same beauty as somebody like Beyonce. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.